Now Straw in a dead sprint, dives in, what a catch! Holy smokes!
Top of the morning to you, and many thanks for joining us on the very first episode of AM Sports, your morning tea for the week. I'm Bade Adeleye, and of course we're reaching you from our base at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium here in Abuja, and of course we've got a lot to talk on the show today. Remember, the African Games is very much on, and of course on Sunday it was a good rush for Nigeria. Imagine seven came in the evening and of course the country shot ahead when it comes to the medals table, and of course lots of interesting things also coming from Ghana, so we'll talk about that and many more on the show. And do not forget that the Nigeria Premier Football League, we saw interesting games on March the 24th, and of course do not forget the English Premier League, the Spanish La Liga, Italian Serie A, and of course the German Bundesliga, not leaving out the French Ligue 1. What a weekend of exciting matches. So we'll talk about all that. And do not forget the big one happened on Friday. And many people never believed in the Nigerian boy, talking about the Nigerian British, Anthony Oluwafemi Olasheni Joshua. He got the job done in the second round against Cameroon's Francis Ngannou, and of course that man will be bullish now, and he says he wants to see, he wants to meet either Fury or Alexander Usyk in the next fight for him. So we'll be talking about all these and many more on the show. So you should know that it's a loaded package when it comes to what we're talking about. So many thanks for joining us again. Let's go on this quick break. When we return, we'll be taking a look at the papers, and of course I will be introducing you to my guest on the show today. To stay with us. Right, let's get into the business of the day, but before that, let me quickly introduce my guest on the show today. Is a man that has been on this show before, so not a newbie when it comes to AM Sports, your morning tea. Join me in welcoming no other person than our very own Sonny Cantor. Many thanks for joining us on the show today. Nice to have you.
Thank you, Mr. Bade, for having me.
All right. Quite interesting. All right, always beautiful to have you. So let's go into the business of the day while we start with the newspapers. And of course, we've got two papers on the show for us to review today. Let's start with the Sporting Sun, which is quite interesting. Sporting Live newspaper. That's where we'll be getting some of Sporting Sun, I beg your pardon. And of course, at the top there we have 13th African Games gold rush for Nigeria in wrestling. Badminton, Arsenal handed Gabriel injury scare. And of course, Barcelona adds €1 billion release clause in Yamal contract. At the center, we've got Iwobi reveals scoring secret. Okay, we'd like to know that. And beside, we've got the table in the Premier League, and of course, the results of matches played on Sunday. And of course, other fixtures coming up. Ajax adds Ten Hag to summer shortlist. Okay, coach headbutts player in brawl. Can you imagine that? Sevilla chases Ndidi. Djokovic wins and returns to India Wells after 5 years. La Liga president Mbappe will 99% join Real Madrid. Okay. Salah club exit will not impact my Liverpool future. Alright, Sonny Canto, a very quick one to, let's start with the gold rush for Nigeria. How proud were you to, see that on Sunday?
I felt so much delighted because particularly the first goal we got from Anu Oluwape in badminton was well expected, because he was in Egypt for the Africa Cup of Nations and he had an outstanding performance. Looking forward to the fact that from Egypt he traveled to Uganda and he did an outstanding job. And now that he is in Accra, Ghana for the All African Games, he has been so outstanding. This is one of the finest badminton champion we have seen in Africa. And of course, for Anolua Okwe, I think he can still improve on that. Looking forward to the fact that the Olympics is around the corner, and he is the finest badminton in the men category in Africa at the moment. And I won't want to say shockingly, but expectedly as well, the Nigeria Wrestling Federation under the renowned champion Honorable Daniel Igale has really lived up to expectation, amassing 6 gold medals in just an outing. Is an amazing one. We saw what this guy did in Commonwealth in time past. We saw what they have done even at Tokyo Olympics. And of course, we are seeing what they are doing in Accra now at the moment for the nation Nigeria. Is an exciting one. Everybody look forward to watch wrestling. Of course, for those who live around the South region, it is like a tradition. It is like a way of life. These people come and gather in their numbers to cheer each other up to victory. But I'm so excited for the Nigeria Wrestling Federation, who have really fly the flag of the country higher in a green, white, green, in a euphoria moment, in an expected manner in Ghana, because Ghana is like a sister country, but Nigeria is always up and doing when it comes to the medal rush, like we will use those words. And looking at the fact that we still have the North Africa countries to contend with. Of course, Egypt is going to host 2027 All African Games, and they are on top of the podium. They are doing well, having hosted many sporting championship this year, and even in the last year. Egypt is one country that you will not take a spot from, because it's like water and fish. These guys are always budgeting for sport. These guys are always proactive. These guys are always well prepared when it comes to sporting world. And luckily for them, they are topping the medal table. And of course, Morocco, their North Africa counterpart, Tunisia, Algeria. But Nigeria is still pulling up some string. I believe by the time our athletics guys come in, by the time our weightlifters finish competing, and of course other sporting federations, we are still going to stand a chance of finishing top podium in the All African Games medal standing. It is the 13th edition. It is an exciting moment. We Nigerians want to see more medals coming. Of course, we have some silver, we have some bronze, and we look forward to more historical moments. hoping that soon there will be a reward system, because it's not as if there is no reward system. There should be more of reward system for these guys to see the benefits, to see the enjoyable part of their hard work. I've been to maybe like 6 or 5 different camps where you will see athletes compete in the morning, not just competing in the morning, they train in and out. Even before they began the All African Games camp, a lot of these athletes have been doing personal training with their coaches and private or technical instructors. And I believe Team Nigeria is going to give us an exciting moment, a thrilling moment, and of course an historical moment at the All African Games. Because if you look at the fact that these guys know, and they know that they are elite athletes, they know that the Olympics is around the corner, they know that France, Paris is where everybody in the world wish to be. They want to get a slot in the All African Games by picking up a ticket for their various sports. They also know that they are elite athletes, they are professionals, they look forward to get slot. And I feel so much excitement when I see these professional athletes and coaches train even at evenings stroke the night hour regularly, just to put finishing touch to their preparation. I believe once they got all the needed tickets for the Olympic qualifiers, they will stand a chance of competing among all other nations in the world, right, as global sport is concerned.
Right, you couldn't have put it any better, Sonny Cantor. That was really extensive. Well done for that. All right, let's quickly let you know that we have one more newspaper to review on this show quickly, and of course we'll be joined on the show by an advocate of cardiovascular health, a man who has been promoting loads of interesting things. So he's online. He'll be joining us very soon. All right, let's quickly take a look at the Punch Sports Extra, and of course we do have the Caged. That was Eagles striker subdued as Ajibade assists in Spain. African Games gold medal swoop for Nigeria on day 3. English Premier League stalemate at Anfield. Blues Magpies in mid-table clash. Tanimo set for first Eagles test. Murillo eyes return. And of course, Joe Bobfrey endorses Amunike for Rigo's job. Let's quickly look down there. The other part of the newspaper. And of course, you were going to see the center one. We've got doubtful assures Eagles debut uncertain after defender picks up injury. And of course, by the side, we've got Tanimo set for Super Eagles first test. And of course, Mourinho eyes return. Ratcliffe approves £100 million for Neves. That's from Benfica. Cricket, female yellow greens reach African Games semis. City open Foden contract talks, and loads of interesting things there, but Osho's Eagles debut uncertain after defender picked up injury. It's quite interesting, but we'll be taking a look at all those things later on the show today. So those are the stories we've got for you in the newspapers. Quite interesting to have that, and of course that brings us to the end of the newspaper review segment there. Interesting one for today. Okay, let's quickly welcome my other friend, my other guest on the show today. So please join me in welcoming Soyi Elekema. Is the president of Amateur Bodybuilding Federation of Nigeria. And if you can hear me loud and clear, many thanks for joining us on AM Sports today.
Yeah, good morning. Hello? Can you hear me? Good morning.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh yes, obviously I can. So thank you for joining us on the show. One of the things that we'll plan to discuss with, our guest on the show today is one of the fallouts of AFCON 2023 in Cote d'Ivoire. Of course, we saw loads of interesting things, and of course, that's downside. We saw lots of interesting things and the downside, joy. Now, one of the things that happened in Cote d'Ivoire was, we saw that so many people lost their lives, especially the game between Nigeria and, the game between Nigeria and South Africa in the semi-final. But at the end of the day, many people felt it could have been avoided. So I want you to let us in. Well, why are we getting sudden deaths, especially this it's as a result of heart attack. Some might call it from panic attack. Some people that they will tell you that if you're not fit enough, do not go near a football viewing center. So tell me, just take us through that quickly.
Well, first of all, it's quite unfortunate and pathetic that the health situation in Nigeria is becoming more and more alarming, and also following the fact that there is need for a concrete proactive measures to manage some of these situations, with the fact that following the admonition by WHO and the researches carried by the leading teaching hospitals in Nigeria has further confirmed that sudden and unexpected death is as a result of heart-related issues. The issues have been on, avoidable conditions, just like you just earlier mentioned, that is caused by obesity, arthritis, heart attack, and many more. Only very few people appreciate the fact that physical fitness is going to go a long way in solving such problems. Lots of people find solace in overeating, excessive drinking, smoking, narcotics, and lack of exercise. You see, the recent mortality link to cardiovascular challenges as regards to the just concluded AFCON football was more or less like an eye-opener. I could tell you that every country, following the admonition by WHO and the standardization by the IDF, which is the International Diabetic Federation, every country is taking a step to manage the situation. And that is why you see countries like Dubai, the US, and all of these places introducing what we refer to as the Dubai 30-30. And that's why we brought it to Nigeria. We were part of the meeting in Dubai some years ago when this deliberation was on, with the admonition from WHO and other researches that was carried out. Sudden and unexpected death is as a result of heart-related issues. What do we do? The cure lies beyond the use of drugs and vaccines. One of the only panacea at the moment that exists is fitness. So how do we get people into fitness, especially following their biotype criteria and heart-related, their biotype criteria and macro intake? There are ratios that are involved in all of these things. How do we get into it? So Fitness Structural Communications, in conjunction with the Amateur Bodybuilding and Fitness Federation, alongside with the Federal Ministry of Health, came up with a lifestyle methodology against sudden and unexpected death, which is in Nigeria 30-30. 30 minutes of exercise for 30 days. This is a program that we started with a pilot scheme in Port Harcourt, and it went very far. And the River State Ministry of Health was fully part of it. So they gave the endorsements, and we got this program on. I could tell you that there are quite a lot of testimonies. Most people you see lying down in the hospital just need a step ahead that is going to take them out of that medicine cabinet. They just need to move. Some are just little cardiovascular challenges that doesn't mean they need to lie in the hospital. We have these things right before us, and we need this advocacy to be on and on. It's not just coming from Fitness Structural Communications, which is responsible for fitness reports, data collations, and analysis. We need the media houses to be part of this campaign. You see, it's a campaign that we need to bring to the doorstep of every Nigerian. And we expect that politicians, the celebrities that are mainstream influencers of mainstream Nigeria should be part of this campaign. We don't need to react when we see things happen. We don't need to say, oh, had I known when we see things happen. This is the time, this is the moment that we need to take on. The 30-30 comes from the 1st of October to the 30th of October. The reason why we measured it within the 1st of October to the 30th of October is because we also looked at it, Nigerians not being patriotic any longer. And we believe that being patriotic is one step that is going to create unity in this country and give us that oneness. Our leadership should be under somebody who wants to lead us directly. And leadership comes from total patriotism. Because Nigerians are no longer patriotic. That is why you see that nearly everybody wants to jackpot. And jackpot is not the solution. You see that it will be difficult for you to see lots of Nigerians recite the national anthem because they are not patriotic. So we decided to put it from the 1st of October so that there will be Independent Day of Patriotic Workers session where Nigerians will determine their strength and flexibility and be able to withhold the power that gives them and gives them this country, Nigeria, for us to move ahead. The program is going to kick from the 1st of October to the 30th of October, and I believe studies have confirmed that 30 minutes a session will help to reduce bone loss. And I believe that if Nigerians get into this, definitely will be on and on. We expect everybody to be part of this program as we see it happen in Dubai and all of these places where a lot of things has changed. A lot of things is happening. Brands are getting more and more involved. And people are seeing themselves away from the way they used to see themselves. People spend time in Nigeria sitting for a long time. And WHO has also confirmed that sitting is worse than smoking. So what do? The lifestyle we live in is not a lifestyle that is encouraging. We need to do something that is going to really help us. We need to show people how to live their life. These are some of the things that have bedeviled the country. Besides the economic crunch and every other thing that we are facing, it is important for us to look at our health, which is very key. And I believe that if we embrace the 30-30, it's going to take us to where exactly we wish to be. It's an articulated program that is going to really help us, especially following our locally improvised materials or based on our local conditions and circumstances is something that is going to be very wonderful for every Nigerian to be part of it. Whether you were in school or you're out of school, you are a Christian, you are a Muslim, this is the time. The hour has come for us to do something about our well-being.
All right. Now, you've talked about all that and everything. And of course, it's beautiful, the 30 for 30, having 30 minutes of exercise for 30 days. And of course, trying to make it, part of everyone's daily lifestyle and everything. And of course, we know that you've been doing a lot in, canvassing and campaigning for all these. We even have, a short documentary that, a mini documentary that you did on that, raising awareness when it comes to, one's physical health. Now, you talked about the patriotic workers and all that. But for somebody who might not be able to be at any of the programs you're organizing, what way can such people, benefit from these? Is there any way, they can benefit from this?
No, we have a website, which is the fitness talk show, the Nigerian Fitness Challenge website, where various programs will be on. We believe that we're going to have, strategically have things like billboards where a lot of inscriptions will be given. And if you follow the video of the programs that is going to be on the website of the Nigerian Fitness Challenge, which is www.nigerianfitnesschallenge.com, if you follow it on that website, wherever you are, you could be able to follow that program to ascertain to some extent your fitness. You must not do exactly what the person is doing, but for the fact that there is some level of sweat which gives you some level of perspiration, because we say perspiration gives you inspiration.
Over 3,75% of CVD deaths takes place in low and middle income countries. Out of the 17 million premature deaths under the age of 70, due to non-communicable diseases in 2015, 82% are in low and middle income countries, and 37% are caused by CVDs. Approximately 425 million adults between 20 and 79 years are living with diabetes.
And we're going to have also have villages. So it depends on where you find yourself. But if you can't find yourself in all of these places and you are in your office or you are in your community or you are in your house, then you should be able to follow the videos that we are going to be posting on the website of the Nigerian Fitness Challenge, so that you'll be able to do what exactly is on there. And I tell you, by the time you do all of this in a couple of weeks or months before the end of the month, you will see the difference. But the one thing that is very important that you need to do is to carry out a present health status of what exactly your present health condition is. So when getting involved, you also now go back to do an assessment again to be able to confirm if there is any change in the present health condition. But it's important that before carrying out any of these exercises, you need to confirm with your doctor that you are good to go to get involved in this program.
Right. I'm glad that you ended things with that particular line, because we have to be sure that somebody is healthy enough to be able to carry out any form of exercise. It's meant to benefit the body, not to compound things. So well done, Mr. President, and many thanks for joining us today. And of course, in case anyone wants to reach you, for more advice when it comes to body fitness and anything about cardiovascular health, quickly in a short sentence, quickly let us know how they can reach out to you.
Well, you can call me on 08029707735. You get more details, you get more information about me. Besides, I am the one that introduced the sports of bodybuilding to the Federal Ministry of Sports, and I've led Nigeria to over 70 countries, and we believe that bodybuilding is one of the greatest things, because the more muscle you have, the more healthy you become. So if you want to be a bodybuilder, you want to be part of this program that we want to run, which is Nigeria 30-30, or you want to be part of the Mr. Universe event that is going to be hosted in Nigeria within the month of the 30-30, surely you could reach me on 08029707735, or you could meet me, you could send me an email to csmart_gym@hotmail.com.
All right, many thanks for joining us on the show today, and of course we'll keep talking, because what you're doing is very beautiful. We do love the initiative. Well done for all you're doing, Mr. President, and thank you for joining us. We'll still continue this conversation, because we have to build up to the event you have coming up. So for today, we've come to the end of the interview. We want to thank you for dialing in. Many thanks. It's been beautiful, and we want to believe our viewers have also enjoyed every bit of it. We don't want people to just forward it whenever they're watching the match or anything. We want healthy Nigerians. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Right, I've been speaking with Shoyi Elikema, of course, as the president of the Amateur Bodybuilding Federation of Nigeria. He's a fitness enthusiast, and anything fitness is very much there. And I can assure you that I still have with me in the studio no other person than Sonny Canto, and we've been discussing all things sports, and of course, reviewing the weekend and all that. And of course, very soon I'll be joined by a cycling enthusiast who has got a lot to talk about, especially when it comes to, creation of, you can call it, we've got so many things to talk about. Psychopath, cycle lane, and of course you can say cycle track. He could be interested in that because he loves professional cycling. So we'll be talking about all this on the show today. All right, let's quickly begin with the African Games. Just we were talking about Sonny Canto. Nigeria got their, our first gold at the African Games 2023 being decided in 2024. And of course, it came from Anoluwakpo in the badminton event. That man gave us the gold medal, the first for Nigeria. A beautiful one, just like Sonny Canto earlier said. We never expected anything less from this man. It's been so many times Africa's number one, and it's been to the Olympics. So congratulations. Just immediately after that, when many people were still celebrating, still very much busy basking in the euphoria of that moment, there came the big shocker. The gold medals were just rushing in, trickling in, and of course 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it became 7, because Nigeria qualified for the wrestling event, 6 finals. We had 6 female wrestlers, and I can tell you, 6 of the wrestlers, the 6 out of the 6, they won gold. You can see it was gold rush for Nigeria. All these 6 wrestlers, they won their gold, from the Mercy Genesis, Blessing Oborodudu, Oduayo Adokoreye, Kola Wole, Hannah, and of course, all of them, they just did that. Oduayo Adekoreye, that's the last person on the right there. So kudos to Team Nigeria, and of course to the Nigeria Wrestling, Federation. Such a beautiful feat, and of course we still expect more medals. Congratulations to them. All right, let's quickly return home now and talk about the Nigeria Premier Football League, because on March the 24th, we got loads of interesting results starting from on Friday, where Bendel Insurance were able to defeat Gombe United. And of course, on Saturday, it got really interesting. Katsina United, Sunshine Stars, Rivers United, and Bayelsa United all were in action. And of course, Kano Pillars, they drew against Rivers United. That match ended 1-0. Niger Tornadoes won away from home. And of course, Heartland, they still got a point away from home. So, quite interesting one. Abia Warriors and Lobi Stars, that ended 1-0, but it did not affect Lobi Stars from maintaining their top spot. And of course, Sporting Lagos recorded a massive 4-1 win over rivals Remo Stars. I'm talking about Southwestern rivals. And of course, Rangers International and Kwara United settled for a goalless stalemate. Shooting Stars recorded a 3-0 win over Aqua United. Enyimba International beat Doma United 1-0. Such interesting results on March day 24. Let's quickly take a look at the ramification of that on the table. Obviously, Lobe Stars are still topping and now followed by Enyimba, Plateau United 3rd, Rangers 4th, and Remo Stars 5th. Sonny Kanto, what do you make of the weekend results?
Well, I think the interesting or fascinating part for me was seeing Sporting Lagos bounce back to winning wave, and of course getting a massive thriller of 4-1 victory over Remo Stars. Looking at the fact that at a point Remo Stars proved to be a hard nut to crack in the league, and though they are new just like Sporting Lagos, both of them are trying to gather their footing in the league. But of course the league is still a long way to go before rounding up in a couple of weeks to come.
Yeah.
But I believe these guys still have something to put out. For Lobi Stars, who have tasted the podium finishing before, being in the top of the table with the elephant Enyimba notable side or exciting or astounding side, I believe there is still an opportunity for all of them to match up. Third position being occupied by the Plateau United, who also tasted podium finishing at a point in time.
All right.
It's still advantage for these guys.
All right, a very quick one. That was what we saw in the Nigeria Premier Football League. Let's quickly move to the English Premier League. We're going to Europe straight away. And of course, on Sunday, we got loads of interesting results. The big one between Liverpool and Manchester City ended 1-0 at Anfield. And many people are giving credit to Liverpool because with that team, they almost beat Manchester City. We must give it to them. And of course, Tottenham, they ran riot against Aston Villa. Come on, 4-0 it ended. That was really, really massive. Brighton also played, and of course, Brighton got a 1-0 win over Nottingham Forest, with West Ham United coming from 2 goals down to draw 2-2 with Burnley. And of course, in the Spanish La Liga, we got some interesting results with Villarreal getting a 3-2 away win over Real Betis. Real Madrid were in convincing fashion, beating Celta Vigo 4-0. And of course, Deportivo Alaves won 1-0 against Rayo Vallecano. And of course, in Italia Serie A Lecce lost at home to Hellas Verona. AC Milan got a 1-0 win over Empoli. Juventus and Atlanta drew 2-2, while Fiorentina and AS Roma also settled for a 2-2 draw. And of course, in the German Bundesliga, Freiburg won 2-1 away from home against Bochum, and Frankfurt won 3-1 against Hoffenheim, while Bayer Leverkusen got a 2-0 win over Wolfsburg. Interesting there. Paris Saint-Germain and Stade Reims, they got a 2-2 draw. Metz got a 1-0 win over Clermont, and of course, lots of interesting results also with Olympique Marseille getting a 2-0 win over Nantes, while Lille and Reims settled for a 2-2 draw, with Monaco winning 1-0 away, to Strasbourg. Lots of interesting matches in the in the European top flight. Sonny Kanto, before I say my goodbye to you on the show today, a very quick one. How hopeful when it comes to the African Games? What is the position you're targeting for Nigeria?
Well, I'm still positive that Nigeria can finish third in the medal table log, because the major rivalry we have now is Egypt, and of course Tunisia either Egypt, Tunisia, or Morocco. But I'm very sure that now that we are fourth in the table log, we'll have more morale booster, will be self-motivated to do a whole lot. Like I said earlier, a lot of these sporting federations or teams camp earlier before the usual preparation for the All African Games. So there is still advantage for us by the time we have athletics and of course weightlifters and other contingents.
The prospect really looks good for Nigeria.
Yes, it looks very colorful, and in anticipation we'll definitely finish either second or third in the medal table log.
Oh, very much hope for Sonny Canto, and of course as Sonny Canto is going, we'll be leaving you with one of the highlights of the match, especially that 1-0 draw between Liverpool and Manchester City in the Premier League. Sonny Canto, many thanks for joining us on EM Sports today.
It's always a pleasure having me. Thank you.
And of course we're wishing Nigeria all the best at the African Games. All right, you're still watching EM Sports Your Money. Let's now take a pause now. When we return, we'll be talking, cycling, biking and all that in Nigeria. Do join us again.
Really started well. Here's Bernardo Silva, and look at Alvarez in space. Alvarez, Liverpool broke away and tucks it in beyond Callagher. City have started super in the 5th minute of the...
Interesting, and of course that was how it ended at Anfield on Sunday. It's getting interesting on the show now. I now have joining me in the studio no other person than a former board member of the Cycling Federation of Nigeria, and of course an enthusiast, an advocate for creating cycle lanes, or you call it bike lanes or bike path, when it comes to Nigeria. Is no other person than Emmanuel John. Many thanks for joining us on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, beautiful. It's been a long time coming. When it comes to cycling or anything about bicycle or all that in Nigeria, you're not pushed over. And of course, it's been, should I say, years of advocacy.
Yeah.
But how far so far in Nigeria when it comes to, creating, maybe you call it bike lanes, bike paths, or even cycling tracks?
Thank you very much for having me, and I'm happy to be back in this studio again after some time. Yeah, we, for quite a number of years, since 2011, we've been having this advocacy on the need for bicycle lanes in Nigerian cities, particularly Abuja, where we have wide roads, we have beautiful environment that is fit for cycling. Interestingly, the master plan of the city of Abuja by design have bicycle lanes.
Wow.
I had the privilege of working with some officials of the FCT administration to do a study on a number of roads far back in 2014, and we confirmed that these lanes are there. Also in 2020, after the COVID, I did a report to the FCD particularly to see if they can recover bicycle lanes on the city's roads. And again, they set up another technical committee that also gave an insight that the bicycle lanes are recoverable. But the decision to proceed has been the concern. But then last year during the World Bicycle Day, we held the second Capital City Cycling Championship in the city of Abuja, where we had the permanent secretary of FCT, who was like the head of the city then because there was no minister at that time. And he gave his words that he was going to start the process of the recovery of the bicycle lanes. And we're currently pursuing that conversation and looking forward to seeing bicycle lanes recover.
All right, for Nigerians, let them know, because there's a huge difference when you're talking about cycling track. It's still we know that that's the track that our professional cyclists are going to use when they are racing, and there's difference between a cycle path and a cycle lane. One can exist on its own, while one is just part of the road that has been designated. So give us the the difference.
Okay, thank you very much. You already gave the difference, but just for emphasis, a cycle lane is a portion of a road.
Okay.
Where you have the cars, and then you have the bicycle lane created as part of an existing road.
Okay.
But once you say a part, then it is a single bicycle lane
just created
for cyclists passing through environment. For instance, a garden,
yeah,
or an off-road.
It might even be be in this stadium.
Yes,
you understand. Anyway,
it's created solely for the bicycle, and it connects destinations. So that's a part. But then if you say a track, then you are talking about sports.
Yeah.
Used basically for racing. You see it in the velodrome. You see it in specific areas where competitive sports takes place.
I don't think it's going to be much of a big deal in Abuja if we have, the bicycle, the bicycle lanes and all that. Because if you look at most of these roads, because for a layman, you might be looking at all those roads and you say, like, it's for us who are walking. They've created this particular, side of the road for us to be walking. But actually, it was created for bicycles. So, do you think it's really going to be a very difficult task to, reclaim all those lanes?
Okay. Thank you. We did a recent study on Ahmadu Bello Way, Absalam Abubakar Way.
I think Ahmadu Bello Way should be the longest expressway in Abuja.
Street in the city of Abuja.
Yeah.
I think about 24 kilometers or so.
It starts from Gwarinpa to like Apo Gudu. Yeah. It's the one on Apo Bridge.
Exactly.
Very long.
So we did a comprehensive study on what it takes to recover bicycle lane on that particular street as a pilot for the city of Abuja, and we discovered that all the spaces are there.
Yeah. Just before the trees.
Yes. Now, if you go there, what is in the design, I think, is after the main car route, you have a 1 meter green area.
Yeah.
You have 2 meters bicycle lane.
Yeah.
You have another 1 meter green area, then the walkway.
Yeah,
that's what exists in the design. But implementation varies from place to place. Some areas there is no green area. Some areas everywhere is green area. Some other places you see walkways that are 5 meters wide. In essence, that 5 meters is supposed to be 2 meters cycling, 2 meters walking, and then 1 meter green area. Unfortunately, that has not been factored in. We submitted that report to the FCT, and we hope that they will take it up to say, okay, let's recover these bicycle lanes because it's more economical for people to ride. I gave 7 just yesterday. I had a conversation on our engineering platform, and I was emphasizing the fact that there are 7 key benefits you can take from a cycling environment. For instance, Nigeria has a vision that by 2050 we should have zero emission from transport, zero CO2 emission from transport by 2050. A CNG, we are currently focused on a CNG initiative in Nigeria, which is good. It's a step forward in terms of carbon emission reduction, but it can never take us to our vision. We need to trend down motorization and focus on walking and cycling, then public transport as a component. To that extent, we'll be able to reach. That's one example.
All right, this is getting interesting. Just before you go on the show, I would like you to explain this. When so many people are approaching the traffic lights, they see one, there's a space where some people these days they use for U-turn. But it's just like before the edge of the road, most places they've blocked it with a barrier. But the normal day, those are, when cyclists want to cross the road, that is the pathway for them, isn't it?
Exactly. It's a ramp.
Yeah.
It's designed for pedestrians and cyclists to use and not for vehicles to use.
Yeah.
And that's why if you go there, you see they put what is called bollards at the center to prevent cars from passing through. But many times, I've seen commercial drivers
that's where they pass
that thing so that they can. It's very, very wrong.
So I just think,
But then, what is fundamental in this city is to establish traffic discipline. If you are in the military, the first thing they teach you is drill, how to do parade. Staying on the lane is the number 1 drill of a driver. If you don't know how to stay on your lane, in between the 2 lines, if you don't know how to stay on your lane, you are not a driver.
You're right.
And until we deal with discipline, cycling will remain something scary for people to do. Of course, some of us are doing it, irrespective of how unsafe people say it is.
Let's believe, those in power, they are listening to us, that it's quite beautiful to have you on the show. Many thanks for coming. We want to appreciate you. And of course, I wouldn't know, if so many Nigerians were out on Friday night to see the bout between Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou, because that's what I'll be leaving you with on the show today. Joshua surprised many people by winning that particular bout, which was really interesting. But just before I go, let me take my time to thank Mr. John Emmanuel for coming to the show today. We love what you're doing, and that's where we're keen into it. I wouldn't mind to write to the office one of these days. And it's beautiful that you're looking at one of the long, roads, one of the longest roads in Abuja to, for your case study and all that. We do hope maybe when they're even starting, they can start with that. Because personally, for me, if you can, if there can be a cycle path on that, a cycle lane on that particular way, I would be 80% through to the office, with bicycle.
That's what we need.
Many thanks for joining us on the show. Quite interesting to have you. And of course, we'll still have you again, to keep talking about this. Those in power must hear about this because it's a beautiful initiative. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. Look forward to Wiki.
Yes.
Answering his call.
We do hope he's a working minister, so let's hope he's going to do that. All right, that's been the show for today. AM Sports, your morning tea. I do hope we've been able to serve you the morning tea very hot, and of course, it's not watery. Yeah, it's got quality, and of course, enough quantity. All right, I'm Bade Adeleye. Thank you on behalf of everyone here, and of course, I'm leaving you with a highlight of how our fellow African brother, and of course, Francis Ngannou was sent to, a world beyond his imagination because he needed oxygen. And, Anthony Joshua was the culprit. But, you wouldn't blame that man because many people never believed in him. See the highlights as I say goodbye on the AM Sports for today. I'll see you again on Wednesday. Bye for now.
Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Seen a first base coach wave a guy down the first baseline.